we're on.
Okay, we are with Dr. Tressa Pinkleton. Good morning, Dr. Pinkleton.
Good morning.
We're going to be discussing magnesium today and its role in the protocol, why we take it, how much should we take, and what if you take it and you get diarrhea? There's a good question for you. All right, so we're going to start out with a little disclaimer. You're all going to get tired of hearing me saying that because, excuse me, I'm going to say it every time so that I won't get sued. This interview is from my own personal experiences, and we are not talking in specifics, but generalities, not referring to any individual or particular case. We are not really giving medical advice. Medical protocols and methods of treating should be done with a licensed medical professional. There you go, Dr. Tressa. Tell us about magnesium now.
All right, I'll just jump right in, right?
Put you right on the spot.
I know. So magnesium is, when I have a new patient for the protocol and I'm talking with them, I give them my whole, CP spiel, break down what we do, why we do what we do. When I get to what I call the multivitamin component, which are those 11 nutrients that we take alongside vitamin D, I always let them know that magnesium is the most important. It is like the primary component to the high dose vitamin D. And that's for several reasons. First, we need magnesium to absorb vitamin D, right? So if people aren't getting enough or aren't getting enough magnesium in their diet, they can take all the vitamin D they want, but they're not going to absorb a ton of it. Even though we say vitamin D is fat soluble, and so it absorbs, right through the gut, and it needs that magnesium to be absorbed. And I've actually had patients, not protocol patients, but just general patients, take magnesium to help bring their vitamin D levels up instead of just giving them more vitamin D. It's pretty cool to see that. A second thing is that vitamin D, when we take vitamin D3, calcitriol, that's not fully active vitamin D. That's not the configuration of vitamin D that interacts with those vitamin D receptors on the Th17 cells to calm down the autoantibody production. That vitamin D has to go through not one, but two different processes to become fully active. And magnesium is needed for each of those processes. And if we don't have enough magnesium, we're not going to be able to fully activate our vitamin D, and the protocol isn't going to be as effective as it could be.
So how do you know if you're taking enough?
So you're taking enough when you reach to what we call bowel tolerance, and a very polite way.
That is a very clean way of saying it.
Basically starting to get the runs. So magnesium, your body is brilliant. And when your body needs a certain mineral or vitamin, it will what we call upregulate the receptors, which means it'll make more receptors for that nutrient in the small intestine to bring in that nutrient. And when it goes, okay, yeah, we got enough, it will downregulate those receptors. And sometimes other nutrients, the receptors will just get kind of full and, that's it. But the result is the magnesium your body is no longer absorbing will act as an osmotic laxative, which basically means it draws fluid from the tissues into the lumen or the tube of the intestines and create a flushing out effect. And that's why some people will use particular magnesiums or very high dose magnesium for that flushing effect, is because of this. Its bowel tolerance is reached, and then that happens. So what I have people do is hit right where they are at bowel tolerance and then come down just a smidge.
Yes, let's be safe.
Yeah, we don't want you to be there all the time. You got to find where that is and then just below it.
Yes.
And most people, that's around 800 to 1200 milligrams in
Yes.
divided doses, not all at once, in divided doses, 4 times a day. So anywhere from 200 to 300 milligrams of magnesium 4 times a day.
200 to 300.
Yeah.
I found out the hard way when I started the protocol that magnesium citrate, some doctors use in liquid form as a laxative.
Yep.
I found that out, you might say, the soft way instead of the hard way.
John.
I was on a vacation and I was literally running to the bathroom.
Yeah.
I couldn't run, but I was going as quickly as I could. And this is why it's important to use a protocol trained doctor and use a doctor who understands, because I wasn't. And the person had me on 800 milligrams of magnesium citrate. And I called them and said, I have diarrhea, extremely bad. Could it be from the magnesium citrate?
Mhm.
And they told me it was from some greasy food I'd eaten, decided to eat. I usually don't eat greasy food. I'm really health conscious.
Mhm.
So that's my experience.
Yeah. Yeah. And it can be really confusing even for healthcare providers, because there are so many different forms of magnesium, and
Yes.
every year there's new brands and new products out there with magnesium, and so it's important to be treated by somebody that kind of knows the differences and the nuance. Magnesium citrate, I feel like it's kind of mid-level, on the hierarchy of the good magnesiums for absorbing into your tissues. I've had patients come to me on magnesium oxide, which is the poorest absorbing magnesium compound, and I only use that for chronic constipation issues. So the best magnesium to use, in my opinion, and in Dr. Coimbra's opinion, and I learned this from him, is chelated magnesium. So a chelated mineral, yep, I use that. A chelated mineral is the way that the magnesium is bound to the chelating molecule, so to speak, and it makes it easier to be absorbed into your bloodstream instead of staying in your intestines. And the CP multivitamin, that's got the chelated magnesium, and then I will have people use the Doctor's Best high absorption magnesium for.
That's exactly what I do.
And I love that one because it's affordable. You can get it on iHerb, so my out of country clients can find it, and even be shipped to like the UK and Australia, which
it's on Amazon also.
And yeah, it's also on Amazon.
It's real cheap. Cheap.
Yeah, it's so affordable. Magnesium should not be expensive. And one thing I wanted to bring up, because I was doing a little extra research in preparation for this talk, and I have a lot of patients that come to me on Ion Mag, which is magnesium chloride. And I just want to put a little shout out that magnesium chloride is nothing special. And Ion Mag, it's a great product because magnesium chloride is also very absorbable. But I don't know why, but Ion Mag has some great marketing, and it's super expensive. And you can get magnesium chloride. It's going to be the same as the Ion Mag. There's no difference, for like half or even a third of the price. So
yes.
I just want to let people out there know you don't need to pay $20 for a $60
bottle. I paid $29 for a bag of Ion, and I didn't even know.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's why it's good to work with somebody who knows a little bit about magnesium, because we can help you find something that's better suited, more affordable, so on and so forth. I had no idea how much Ion Mag cost, and I went and looked. I was like, are you kidding me? Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I'm going to sell Mag Ion,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we get a lot of questions through the page about magnesium, and people get really excited whenever they start the protocol and then have diarrhea. And 99 times out of 100, it's because of the magnesium.
Yeah.
And, they're, people get at first extremely scared.
Yeah.
Um, they're afraid that they're going to do something wrong or something. And I got in trouble a long time ago whenever I said that this protocol was easy. It is easy as long as you follow it.
Yeah, it can, and there's definitely an adjustment period getting onto it,
Yes.
because you got to follow a
Yes.
schedule of medication, you've got to change your diet, you've got to change
Yeah.
your physical activity. A lot of people have to change their hydration, and it can be tricky in the first few months. Yeah, but I want to
Yes.
talk a little bit about what happens if that bowel tolerance is reached really quickly, or easily, instead of up at the 800 range. The first thing is to make sure you're taking a magnesium that is well absorbed. So check what magnesium version you're on. And the best way to do that is when you look at a supplement bottle, don't just look at the front of it. Go and look at the supplement facts, and it will say in there. So like mine, it says magnesium as Trax, which is a copyrighted thing, magnesium bisglycinate. So this one has magnesium bisglycinate, and then you can talk to your doctor about if that's a good, well absorbed magnesium product. Another thing that one can try is to take the magnesium with food. I found that can sometimes help because it will slow down the absorption of the magnesium. And I've had some patients that have, for lack of and just for brevity, lack of a better term, small intestinal inflammation for various reasons. And that can make the gut more sensitive. And there are ways that we can work with that to calm down the gastrointestinal system so that nutrient absorption can be, more easily done. If that makes sense.
I know that whenever we first start this, that, you're talking about gut health there and your gut, it's like it can be a lot of pills. And, people have upset stomachs and they, have things going on and they, like I said, with anything, they get scared whenever something is out of the ordinary or that they're doing something wrong or something's wrong. And usually it's not. It's
Mhm.
just my picture's not moving. It's just that you're taking a lot of pills. I still, if I, drink coffee and take a bunch of supplements or do something like that, I still, see that a little bit.
Mhm.
Listen, next time, what would you like to talk about? Do you have anything particular?
I think, I like it when you tell me what your viewers want me to talk about. So why don't you take a little poll and
All
maybe
right.
come up with a
Well,
few topics that we can cover over the next few weeks?
I think what I want to put out there is that people, they ask me questions and you'd be surprised how many people ask me questions that are like, why didn't you answer my question? This isn't a free doctor show, people. We're not going to answer every one of your questions. And Dr. Pinkleton is doing this out of the kindness of her heart. We're making nothing here. So we're going to address questions that are common,
Mhm.
questions that that need to be addressed. But if you're having spasms in your right big toe, we're probably not going to address that or have it's not that we don't want to, it's that we don't have time. So I'm putting this out there to everybody watching this to go on Facebook, contribute in your questions, something that maybe you want to answer that's common, and we'll try to get to that. I know that I was talking to a friend last night about, I know you probably heard of the MS Gym and how they're actually going in with somebody now and doing something in conjunction with the MS Gym. So that was interesting to hear. I think
That's
Trevor
nice.
Wickens, the one that started that. I think he's doing a good job.
I gotta get in
That's something
contact
I
with that
just
guy.
started was physical therapy. So it's been
Good.
really good. Anyway, there I go. I got the gift of gab and I think a squirrel ran by. So
I want to say
thank
one more thing, John, that I forgot to mention before about magnesium, if that's okay before we close.
sure. Yeah.
So the most common complaint I get when people first start the protocol is that they have more muscle stiffness and a headache. And for people with MS, you can understand why that might be alarming for them. Those are also the signs of low magnesium in the blood. And so the
Wow.
first thing I do is say, you need to take more magnesium. And 99 times out of 100, symptoms resolve within 1 or 2 days. So again, that's a huge reason why magnesium is so important on this protocol. And
It,
I wanted to
it,
make sure it was mentioned before I signed off.
is that a big reason behind headaches?
I
Because
do
I
think
had
so. Yeah,
terrible headaches.
I do think so. We should have we could have a whole nother podcast about mineral absorption, but
Hey,
we
well,
as a society are really depleted in minerals, and it causes all sorts of issues all over the body.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's so many things that you cover with this. So, well, we'll get to 10 minutes at a time or 20 minutes at a time. I don't know. Thank you, Dr. Pinkleton. It's
Thank
always
you.
a pleasure talking with you.
Yes, thank
We'll
you
try
very
to
much.
do this again in a week or two.
Mhm.
Is that good with you? All right. All right. Take care.